Let me hold your hand while I say this. There are bad teachers.
And that's it.
Welcome back to the Justify Your Existence podcast. I am interviewing an educator today, Miss Sandy Jeremiah. She has been teaching for 17 years. I know that is probably older than some of my viewers.
So true.
Right? And she's also been teaching dance as well for 12 years, you said?
That's correct.
Right. So if you want your kids to get active, you know who to get at. Right? She got her bachelor's in education at UTT and she was the runner up for the 2023 Miss.
South Mature.
So she does pageants as well. I'm a woman of many hats, a woman of many hats. Right? So she does a lot of things. She's a creative, she's a mother, she's an aunt, she's a woman of many talents. Anything to say for yourself, Miss Jeremiah?
I'm also a painter. I do murals, t-shirts, original clothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
hit me up.
She do jerseys for me too, so I could guarantee the quality. It looks good. It looks good. Even her daughter is an artist as well. It runs in her family.
Clearly.
Alright. So I had to ask you this first question. It might be a run of the mill question, but I want to hear your take on it. What made you decide to become a teacher?
I think for me it was always a toss-up. Growing up, I wanted to be a lawyer or a teacher. Probably because I like to debate. um, but I think after I got older, I realized that I wanted to make a difference somehow. And if you actually think about it, teachers are involved from the very beginning in everybody's life. You can't go through your school life and not be affected by a teacher in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's positive and negative, but you're always affected by an educator. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a job that I could have made an impact with. And it allows me also to use a lot of my talents and gifts. So best fit for me.
Also, you bring up impact when you talk about becoming a teacher and things. So you normally teach infants and thing right now, right?
My last two classes was infants, but I
Mm-hmm.
have taught from infants to standard five. So
Oh.
I've been all over the private school system levels.
Yeah. So that is like the most developmental years, you would say. Huh?
That is correct. Outside of preschool, I think if you don't have a proper, stable first year, second year education, it kind of makes it a little more difficult going forward.
Mm.
So, yeah, I love infants. So children make me smile every day. So
Oh, that's so
yeah.
cute. That's so cute. Yeah, that's so cute. So you just find rewards in your job then.
Yeah, every day I go to school, I could be feeling how down. Children always make you laugh, always give you something to think about. They always lighten my day somehow, even with the smallest of things. They'll bring you little flowers or draw you a picture.
Oh,
So, I love my job. I can't say I don't love my job. I really do.
that's good. That's good. I hope. Because you're speaking about it so passionately. Because in my experience, like going to school as a student and thing, you'd watch certain teachers and you would visibly see the dislike the job. But I could plainly see that is not the case for you.
Yeah. I I I think it's always something that I love to do. It's easy for me for somehow to relate to the students, and I think they are drawn to me primarily because I'm probably not the stuffy teacher type, you know.
Mm,
um, I'm I think they probably see me as unique.
mm,
A lot of the times, I'm probably not the most cookie cutter version of a teacher,
yeah.
because I think it's important for me and then to show these students that yeah, it's okay to be yourself. It's
Mm,
okay to be unique.
mhm,
We were all made different for a reason,
mhm.
with different talents, different strengths. So, um, and I have a tendency to treat my children how I would like my child to be treated as a mother type figure. So it's easy for them to be drawn to me. So, yeah.
Okay, okay, I understand that. I understand that. And you emphasize on the fact that you want them to be unique and you want them to express themselves. That circles back to your creative self as well.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I feel stifled when I have to not be myself or try to put myself in a box. So I decided a long time ago that I'm going to widen my own box and stay there. So yeah.
Hmm. No, that real good, that real good. And it could be an example for them as well. So, how you think you could improve? Or I shouldn't say improve. I don't think improve is the word I want to use. How you think you could get more children to be creative? Because it's a field that just becoming more widespread now with all the content creation and everything, and everybody loves art. So, in your teaching style, how do you like invoke that?
For me, um, when a lot of times when people think about being creative, they it's very um. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? They usually put it into certain categories,
Hmm.
like art or music or dance. But if you actually look at the world now, it involves a whole lot different things. It could
Hmm.
be video art. It could be, what we do now, podcasting.
Yeah.
It could be simple things like how we, you stack blocks or pack stuff
Hmm.
away. So because of that, probably because of my view of things, shouldn't put a limit on creativity and what children can accomplish.
Hmm.
So I don't. I allow them to explore what their
Hmm.
strengths might be. I allow them to be as creative as they can, whether it's as, simple things like, well, I'm in infants right now. So even with Play-Doh,
Hmm.
I would give them broad instructions and not give them specific instructions. So they're
Hmm.
allowed to be themselves and be as open and creative as they need to be.
Hmm.
And I think it's important that we don't limit children.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe growing up, people in my generation, we were told certain things that we had to do and had to, conform to certain things.
Hmm.
And the world is very vast and it's very, wide, and it's not. We shouldn't put a limit to what the children can do because we never know what they can accomplish if they're given the opportunity.
True, 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 true. Yeah. And with art, it has so many ways. Like before, like in previous generations, you wouldn't be able to make money with your art as readily. But now, with the internet, it's so widespread. Like you don't know who could possibly see your drawing and be like, "That's beautiful," and they found meaning in that and thing. And that you could just generate income from that. It's so amazing that you could be in Trinidad and somebody in Japan see your drawing and they're like, "I'm going to buy this."
And that's so true because it's like, okay, as I said, most people think of art as paintings, drawings, that kind of thing, but there's
Hmm.
graphic arts, there's anime.
Hmm.
I mean,
And anime becoming so widespread, thank
right?
God.
I mean, because of online school, you don't even have to leave Trinidad to do some of these things, and
Hmm.
you can be viewing somebody in Japan, and watching their anime, watching their art, and they could be viewing yours, and the internet has created a lot of opportunities, and I think the younger generation should take advantage of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So even like so in your teaching style, you said that you believe that children should be free to express themselves and things. If that also relates to how you act as a mother as well.
I think so. I tend to treat them how I would want somebody to treat my daughter. So my daughter likes anime and graphic arts, and
Mm-hmm.
she wants to eventually do have her own anime studio. And I am fully supportive of her. I'm not going to try to force her to be what my version of success should be.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I want your kids to be happy, um, and you want them to be successful. Their version of success.
Mm-hmm.
Success is not only limited to money, it's unlimited to what makes you feel good and what makes you happy at the end of the day, because we're only here for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to put pressure on my child, my students, to be something that they don't want to be. So I guess because of how I probably treat my daughter, that I would give my students that opportunity. um, so I think it has kind of filtered into my teaching style and my view.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I know in the classroom we have to do certain things. They have to be taught certain things, but at the same time, if you don't give them the opportunity to figure out what their strengths are I mean, it's what's the sense of education?
True, true, true. Because education could only teach what has already happened, but creativity is something you can make something that never existed.
That is correct, and it works everywhere.
Hmm.
Technology in creating anything, as a matter of fact,
Hmm.
the simple things like that we use today that we take for granted, like the light bulb. If somebody
Yeah.
didn't actually think about it and wanted to put it into effect, that is creativity too. So simple things that we don't know where the will might end up. We might end up with flying cars. We might be able to teleport at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
because
it's far fetched, but not it's
is
not
it though?
really
Yeah, it's not really that far
the
fetched,
way technology is going. So
Yeah.
it's yeah,
AI come along so far. I don't think
uh,
much of these things are far fetched
you know.
again.
So I mean, we can't limit next generation and the next generation of thinkers. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we gotta brighten our spectrum a little bit.
Yeah. And that's important because as a teacher, you have to make them learn the curriculum, but you also have to teach them how to think. And I think that's where some teachers get a little lost. They're
Yeah,
just trying to make sure, okay, I'm gonna need you to pass this test and pass this test, but you're not preparing them to be true people, true adults
yeah,
in the wider world.
and that's very true. I think in some aspects too, we don't prepare students for life. Um, I understand primary school is the foundation, right? So
Mhm.
they have to learn certain things, maths, languages. But you also hear a lot of people saying that, when am I going to use Pythagoras theorem, or
Yeah, when you gotta
that
use
kind
that
of
in real life.
thing. So I do think in the education system, at least for here, I haven't taught any other places as yet, but um,
As yet.
as yet. I do think we need to teach life skills, and I think that is what is missing from our system. Simple
Hmm.
things like making a budget, being financially secure. Those things need to be taught within the school, because a lot of times, you leave school and you're just kind of lost for a while until you kind of eventually figure things out.
Mhm.
But it kind of puts you ahead if you learn these things in school. So I think that should be probably like a subject, especially in secondary school when they're still
Mhm.
trying to figure things out, how to make a proper budget, how to run a business, how to do those
Mhm.
things, and not just be a SBA subject in business, but it
Yeah.
should be a overall subject for everybody,
Yes, yes.
right? Because
I,
those life skills are, to me, sadly missing from our system. And um, I think for Trinidad, we still follow the US and those education systems, but some of the most successful systems, which is like Finland and those places, they don't test. They don't have tests until the children are much older, and allow them to have playtime, allow them to have
really, I never
um
heard about this before.
yeah, they don't test while they're in the younger years.
Mhm.
They have a leaving school exam, I believe.
Mhm.
um so the actual written standardized test comes later on. They allow them the chance to learn, because
So what makes that better, if you don't mind me asking?
um a lot of times we teach to pass the exam,
Mhm.
and actual creative learning, trying to figure things out, sometimes get lost because we're trying to finish a curriculum.
Mhm.
So, you know, um, but these are my personal views.
Mhm.
And sometimes because of we teach to pass the exam,
Mhm.
some of that educational learning kind of gets lost along the way, because we're
Mhm.
studying to pass an exam and not studying to be creative and learn at our own pace and that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So that's my personal views.
Yeah, no, no, that's good. That's good. That's interesting though, with the freedom aspect, and it show results that are positive that way.
Yeah, because I think I was watching a episode, or I was watching some video on YouTube
Mhm.
about schools in Finland, and some of the most successful schools
Mhm.
that are ranked higher,
Mhm.
and they allow more time for play, more time for creative learning, so they don't have school all
Interesting.
day. And the school hours are a bit shorter.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Ah, that kind of messed with my thinking now, because normally you would think more work and more effort would yield greater results, but the results showing the
Yeah,
opposite.
because even different countries have different according to their culture, they would have different they would treat with education differently. First, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, Korea, Japan, China, those places, they have longer school hours.
Mm-hmm.
So after you finish school, all during the day, then they have classes at night. But
Mm-hmm.
they also allow, if you look at their schooling, they
Mm-hmm.
also do a lot of sports. They have
Mm-hmm.
entire universities just dedicated to sports
Mm-hmm.
and different, things like that. So at the end of the day, I think we need to develop a system that is catered to us,
Mm-hmm.
right, and directed to our culture
Right. So
instead of
it's
trying to mimic or follow somebody else's.
okay. Well, that's good because you see, not just like copy someone else. It's circling straight back to your creative and unique nature, and you
Right,
say and develop a system that will best suit you.
right.
Well, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. Because
Yeah,
I even saw a video recently where it's like homeschooling in which country it was? I think it was the US,
yeah,
where I was dealing with homeschooling and from like the early ages, like primary school and thing. They would teach you regular curriculum, but that would be a short amount at a time. Then the rest of the time they would spend teaching them things like how to make a map and how to list the cardinal points properly and things. If what you know teach me anything is that some
that's so
basic
true.
things people don't know, and so like them basic things like he showing an example where he teaching 6 and 7 years how to make the budget at home and thing and how
Yeah,
to create a business and teaching them about loans and all them kind of thing. It have adults my age working with me, older than me,
yeah.
and they don't have a budget. It does baffle me. I'd be like, okay, so you're making money, you're spending money. You don't want to see exactly where you're spending that money. No, I go know in my mind.
I mean, if you're custom budgeting, certain things are a given. All right,
Yes.
this is what I spend on food. This is what I spend on,
Mm-hmm.
But that only comes with time and with practice.
Mm-hmm.
So especially when you're in your 20s and stuff, I would suggest writing it down, making
Mm-hmm.
a planner. Even if it's your salary is something standard and something set, then okay, this is what I get at the end of the month. These are my
Mm-hmm.
expenses. I'm trying to put a little away for savings or whatever it is, even if it's $10, because it does add up eventually,
Yeah, and,
right?
and compound interest is that thing once you put it in the right place.
Right. So especially for monthly paid people, your salary is kind of set. So
Mm-hmm.
once you do a proper budget, probably the first couple of times and you practice it, well, yeah, it's going to be given, all right, these are my
Yeah,
expenses and stuff like that.
but people wouldn't even thought to have that budget, so you wouldn't even
Right,
get a chance to create the habit.
right. So, as I said, life skills is, yeah, kind of, to me, it's kind of missing and it's something we need
Yeah, so
to
that
look at.
that would be something you would add to the curriculum.
I would add that, yeah,
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 I completely agree with that. Life skills in the curriculum, definitely. And as a person as exercise, we definitely need a higher emphasis on sport,
yeah.
please.
And not just after school activity.
Yeah, yeah. Like in school and things, because some trainers have so much energy. Because
Yeah,
I sure it does be hard to have some trainer, okay, I gotta need to sit down and be quiet and I just
yeah.
like
Especially because of how things are going now, a lot of more children are being diagnosed are on the spectrum, coming
mm,
in with autism, ADHD, those kind of things. So
mhm,
you have to kind of change your style to suit, because there are a lot more a variation of students coming
mhm.
in. So what way may have worked 20 years ago 50 years ago, it's not going to work with this generation of students
Yeah, it,
who are more visual, who like to move
mhm.
around, so
Yeah, 50 years ago, we didn't have phones
yeah,
to just be like in my pocket, okay, I could just pull up a YouTube video.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, it's a completely different world and they can't be using the same systems over and over again. We need to
That's right.
adapt.
There must be change, yes.
Yeah. Ooh, but with regards to ADHD and autism and thing, those, well, people just call them mental illnesses, right? I think this might be a hot take. Yeah, guys. I guess this might be a hot take. But I think like certain variations in human beings, once you put them in the right platform for them,
Hmm.
they will shine.
Agreed.
They will shine. Because
Agreed.
Like some like ADHD, like if because hyperfocus is one of the things that has
Yeah.
happened, right? So like if you get them to hyperfocus on something and a productive outcome happened, is it a illness?
Um, my as I said, my personal view, I don't regard any of those things as an illness, right? Some persons with autism are extremely intelligent in certain subjects
Mm-hmm,
in math. They just, mainly to learn proper social skills, that kind of thing.
mm-hmm,
I have ADHD, but
mm-hmm,
um, I when I did, my assessment of it, especially when it's in college and stuff, sitting still for long periods of time is difficult for me. So most of the time in my classroom, I'll get to book around children who sing, we dance, move
mm-hmm,
around, that kind of thing. Um, so it's a matter of what I have learned from my personal experience from it is just a manner of learning to deal with how your brain works.
mm,
So if, for instance, I'm trying to focus on a certain subject, I do have a ring that I kind of focus my nervous energy when I need to concentrate.
mm-hmm,
So I don't think anything is a disability; it's
mm-hmm,
a special ability.
mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
I've seen children with autism who are extremely intelligent in maths, or they are very good
Mm-hmm,
in science and language.
mm-hmm,
Um, so they just need to work differently with other things. So as I said, as an educator, it's a matter of trying to find a way to reach the students where they are.
mm-hmm. Yes, you gotta constantly be adapting your teaching style to suit them.
Yes.
So, and that's we just get tapped sometimes because
Yeah.
in teaching, if you was to relate to like any other profession, students is like the customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are just trying
Facts.
to suit the product to the customers,
That is so true.
Yeah.
And you have to keep them engaged. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you have to get them
yeah.
probably, they
See,
have to want to come to school. They have to
mhm.
want to learn. So,
That'll
yeah.
be excited. Who we have next? We have Miss Sherma. What? We have Miss Sherma. That
Yeah.
music can get to dance. That music can get to. We need that. We
Yeah.
need that. We need to motivate them properly.
Yeah. I think there was a point where my students didn't want to stay home at all because they were afraid they missed something.
Up top, up
So,
top, up top.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was,
nah, that excellent, that excellent.
yeah.
And as a person that know you,
Yeah.
like seeing your aura and thing when you're around students and thing, I can understand why.
Yeah.
I understand why. Yeah,
I try.
you have that aura as an educator, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so nice. They don't want to stay home.
No, no, not at all.
I
Not at
mean,
all.
yeah, the, that is good.
Yeah.
When you're doing a great job, more work.
That is facts.
Yeah.
'Cause, I think we had a sports day last. I do have a video of that. We had sports for the infants,
Hmm.
and we were playing musical chairs. So I happened to win.
Hmm.
The entire school came out, and I was so flooded, almost fell off the chair. And most of them is students, and I have never taught, but I would talk to all these students in the school. So yeah, it was a really heartwarming experience that day.
See, we need more teachers like that.
Yeah,
So, and these the professionals get a bad rap that way. Yes, yeah, so much people
yeah.
complaining about teachers and talking about the teachers do nothing and they always asking for more pay and thing. And teachers only want to teach with students halfway and then they want to say have lessons on the side
I think what people fail to realize, unless they're actually in the profession, teaching is not a 8:30 to 3 profession.
Mhm,
We teach way more than that,
mhm,
and then you go home and you have to prep work for the next day.
mhm,
So our day doesn't end at 3.
mhm,
It is a very stressful job. As much as I love it, it can be extremely stressful.
mhm,
Um, and teachers are very underpaid
mhm,
for the amount of work and um, the level of work that we expect to
mhm.
put out.
Good teachers.
And good teachers. Which
Good teachers.
the thing is, I haven't really met a lot of bad teachers, to be honest. I think sometimes you get frustrated at times, which comes with any job.
Let me hold your hand while I say this. There are bad teachers.
I'm not saying that they are. That's what I'm fine. I've known a lot of teachers who go be above and beyond
Mm,
for their students. I have a whole staff where I teach presently who are very dedicated
mhm,
to the students. So it's sometimes it's difficult for administrator compliment, but especially because of cost of living is going up and our salary is
mhm.
fixed.
Right.
It's a bit difficult. So that's probably why you would hear that complaint.
Mhm.
And sometimes in terms of other countries, um, our salary is nowhere near
Oh yeah,
there.
I saw a country the other day where teachers was probably the highest, one of the highest paid professions,
Yeah.
up to par with doctors and things. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because at
What
the end of the
when
day, we educate everybody,
right,
right?
yeah.
All professions.
Yeah. But that
So
is where I was wondering. I had this thought recently. Is a radical idea, but bear with me. So like jobs does pay like money per hour worked and them kind of thing, right? And
right.
it was work as a fixed pay with a teacher and them kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
What if we had more jobs that were like more value based, like the value you bring to your job?
I think that would work.
Because I was watching something like this, like let's say like art for example, right?
Hmm.
Let's say you do a piece of art and you give it out into the world, right?
Right.
If people don't find your art to be valuable, you won't get any money. But if
That's
people
correct.
find your art to be extremely valuable, you'll become rich,
That is true.
right?
And
But
sometimes people only see your value after you've passed away
right,
too. So
that
that's
is
the next thing.
that is quite unfortunate with that. But circling back to teaching though, like
Hmm.
while as a teacher, let's say you put an excellent job towards your student, you working on your students' curriculum all the time, even while in the classroom and thing, you're teaching regular curriculum and you're teaching dance and you're teaching them how to be creative.
Right.
Your whole class pass every single subject. You still can get the same pay as
Yeah, pretty much.
Miss. When I
It is
come
a
to
job that you have to love
to
what you're
do
doing.
that,
You have to
yeah,
love what you're doing.
I find that unfair. And like people will say money is not all, but if you give the people that are doing a good job more money, they'll do more good things.
At the end of the day, we have to survive, and if we are financially comfortable,
Mhm,
then it makes we'll have less time to study. Okay, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay this bill, I gotta find an extra way to make extra income, and
mhm,
I could devote my time to the job that I love to do.
yeah,
So I mean, I've known a lot of teachers in the last couple of years that have just died from heart attacks, stress related,
mm,
diseases and stuff, because it is a teaching is one of the most stressful jobs it has.
mhm,
Because a customer will come in, you only have to deal with that person for 5 minutes,
mhm,
and then they leave. We have to deal with them between 8:30 to 3 o'clock every day. Different personalities, a class with
mhm,
15 to 25
yeah,
students, depending on the class size. And you have to find a way to teach all of them the same content in different ways.
mhm,
So it is actually a very stressful job. I
mhm.
know they like to say that we only like holidays and stuff, but sometimes by the time you finish that school year, you are so mentally, emotionally, physically tired that
Mhm,
that rest is so needed
yeah,
just to kind of catch yourself to go back. And then some teachers do courses during that time, or that kind of thing.
yeah, to
Or we
improve
have
their
ministry,
teaching style.
yeah,
Mhm,
so it's I don't want to say it's a thankless profession, but it is a profession that you need to love what you're doing.
yeah,
You have to
mm,
see the the benefit behind it, and it's simple victories sometimes. I think I had a student who she had trouble reading,
mm,
identifying letters in fonts, and at the end of the school year she was able to read some of the sentences and stuff on her own, and that was a victory for me
mm,
because I saw where she started from and where she got to by the time she left my hands. So
mhm,
sometimes it's simple victories that make the job rewarding.
mhm. You mentioned victories. This constantly in the news, so I had to mention
Oh gosh.
this. so, so crime is rampant in our country, right?
Mhm.
Right? Now, do you think that the drop in the pass rates in CXC correlating with the rise in crime?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
I'm glad we are the
As
same
because as I
page.
mentioned before, a lot of students are leaving unprepared for
Mhm,
what comes next. Not everybody is an academic.
mhm,
Not everybody is prepared to um, get one of the normal run of the mill jobs. Sometimes they need to do something else. Maybe they are good with their hands. Maybe they should do mechanics or tailoring
mhm,
or something like that. So, and again, the life skills, they are unprepared for the job
mhm,
market. So, I think especially where secondary school is concerned, there's a lot of frustration for the students,
mhm.
and it's because of the fact sometimes you leave school and you have all your subjects and you still can't get a job,
True, true,
right?
true.
So I think it's a
So,
matter of them not being prepared. It's a matter of
mhm,
it's just frustration,
mhm.
because sometimes you just may not understand the work that they're doing,
Yeah.
right? So it's yeah, education has a lot to do with it.
So, we think we could do well. I say we, but I'm not an educator. But we think like the education system could do to like help combat that.
Well, as we were talking about before, I think preparing the students more for what comes next.
Mm,
Giving them other aspects that they can concentrate on. So if I'm not
mhm,
an academic and I'm good with my hands, then sometimes they may put them in a school that may not be geared towards that aspect of their strength.
mm,
So if you end up in a school that is very academic based, but I'm better at art or mechanics or something like that, then I'm going to come out being lost
yeah.
because I was never suited to that, that
Yeah.
schooling
And it
system.
come like almost like you waste your time because it could have been way further ahead if it was in the right environment.
Right. So,
Mm,
sometimes I may not be suited for the job market that's out there. I may need to create my own business.
mhm,
So, if they learn some of these things before they would have left school, I think it would have made things a little bit easier for them.
mhm.
Sometimes in even business class, they only teach you that because you're in a business class.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
I was even speaking to a business manager the other day, and he was saying that he learned so much more about creating your own business and running a business outside
kind of
of school.
school, yeah,
Like the fundamentals necessary, yes, but
yeah.
he say
It's a
like,
different
yeah,
different ball game
the
after you leave
practical,
school. Yeah,
like if you could like, get everybody an internship, that would be like, woo.
yeah,
That is where us actually see what it really entails. Because people don't see these jobs and be like, okay, mwah, nice small thing. He's a teacher, you just write on the board whole day. But then when you're actually in the environment, just be like, okay, I respect your profession.
yeah, yeah.
Parents, respect teachers, please.
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 Maybe we can
Uh,
also have, I know they do career days and stuff
mhm,
in, well, we have had some career days in school and stuff.
mhm,
Actually, especially at the secondary school level. Primary school, they're still open minded and understand that they have certain curriculum that we need to follow. But
mhm.
especially in secondary school, have mentors come in, speak to the children, what you actually need to
Yeah,
do to start your own business.
that's it.
People who are successful at
Mhm,
doing business, people who are mechanics and can probably give them some sort of guidance. So it wouldn't
mhm.
be just, all right, pass the exam and help you out
Yeah,
there.
and creating businesses becoming ever more important because
Yeah.
businesses keep closing down, and we need the entrepreneurs to rise up. Well, I say we need them to rise up, but then you ain't checking the money for the but so support the small businesses and thing that the China thing. It could be a young man that he didn't get to do the academic route. He did woodworking. He don't have enough money to open his own shop,
Yeah.
and all the other shops and thing full. Give
That's
them a
true.
little support where you could give them.
And then online is a very vast market that is opening up now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are online businesses that you can create on your own. It's just even because I've been looking into it, thinking of doing something like that myself. And
Mm-hmm.
something you have no guidance. You have to literally watch, you know, YouTube videos and get advice
Yeah,
on TikTok and that kind of thing
yeah.
to create your successful business.
You
So
would see things on like invest in the stock market and things. Okay, so how can I invest in the stock market?
yeah. And then some you get so confused because there's forex, there's bitcoins, and somebody who knows nothing about it will be
Mm-hmm.
so confused
Mm-hmm.
as to where do I start,
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're
yeah.
so accustomed to going to school and everything like streamlined. Okay, standard one, standard two, standard three, standard
Yes.
four, and they'll just raise the requirements as your knowledge level increase. But when you
Yeah.
reach out, you're just like, okay, what do
What
I
am I
do?
using all this education for? Where does what Pythagoras theorem coming into this? Yeah.
Yeah, because not to say it's not useful. If you go on to do engineering and thing,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
mandatory, you know. But
It's for the
yeah.
normal standard person who just wanted to pass the
Mhm.
exam and yeah.
With regards to the passing rate, I recently see on the news that MILAT students generally had better results than on average.
Yeah,
Why do you
that's
think that
the
is?
I think because they foster a lot more discipline
Hmm.
there because it's more of a military based school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they will can't do certain things and they will be expected to hold a certain standard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the normal primary school, secondary school, because it is leaking down to primary school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sometimes the level of discipline is not where, like I say, 10, 15 years ago, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
These students are completely different. They're a
Mm.
lot more angry. They're a lot more.
Why do you think that is?
Um, there are a lot more children making children. There are a lot more parents trying to provide and not necessarily in the household. There are a lot more
Mm-hmm.
single parents. So sometimes the guidance may not necessarily be there.
Mm.
Um, can't exactly say what's in the mind of some of these children
Mm-hmm.
because as I said, they leave me at primary school and they're a little more. I don't want to say docile. It's not as bad in the primary school as yet.
Mm-hmm. But in the
Um,
secondary school level, it's
yeah,
terrible.
it just, I don't
It's
know.
terrible.
It just,
They get out, they even pass out. Like from personal experience, because I was talked to some secondary school students that 15, 16, you don't have like about five tattoos on your hand. I'm like, why
yeah,
is that school day too? Is that school day 1 o'clock? Why you outside in regular
yeah.
clothes? you know? And it's like, nah, you know what? I'm just trying to make it. Make what? Make what? You watch one hustle video and you're like, yeah, I want to be a hustler. Okay.
What is the definition of a hustler? What does it? What does that entail? I think, growing up, there is no way I could at secondary school level have two, three, four visible tattoos and be going to school. My mother would have cut my tail, right?
Yeah.
So, and then parents said, well, that's the response,
Yeah,
you know.
they're just pretty much
And at the
giving
end
like,
of the day, guidance starts at home.
mm-hmm,
So discipline starts at home.
mm-hmm,
So if you don't have the fundamentals at home, then it's going to translate within the school environment.
yeah,
There's no
that's
consequence
true.
to them,
That's
right? They are not the respect that teachers would have gotten many years ago is kind of fading,
true. Mm-hmm,
and it isn't. It as I said, they didn't foster that at home.
mm-hmm,
So if you don't know respect your elders, you don't speak to people a certain way, and then you have them going into the school system and with that kind level of
mm-hmm.
disrespect and anger, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fights.
Yeah, yeah.
So
'Cause and I don't know what it is. It's like two sides of the spectrum contributing to the problem. Because on one hand, it have the parents that just don't care, so they're just leaving it trying to do whatever they feel like. So that's bad. But on the
yeah.
next side, it have the parents that frankly care too much. Okay, so what if because like I doesn't experience this in teaching because I was not a teacher, but please tell your children stop putting the foot on the table when they go to restaurants. For the life of me, I didn't understand that one. Recently, had like a table of 40 that came to my working establishment.
Yes.
And the trend was, when I was younger, which wasn't that long ago, which was not, yeah, where we like putting your foot on the table would be like, what?
Unheard of.
You wouldn't do that. You
That's where
understand?
you eat.
Your mother wouldn't even hit you. She would just watch you with that eye, like you know the eye.
Yeah, I've mastered that eye.
Yeah, and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something wrong. Whatever I'm doing, I need to be perfect right now. Yeah, so I just watch these little turn around and be like, okay, so now me as a staff, I'd be like, hi, can you please just tell your children to just not have the feet on the upholstery and stop running about the disturbing the other patrons? And then the parents, in the softest voice, would be like, oh my gosh, there's so much trouble, eh?
Yeah, because I think soft parenting took over.
What?
And like they just don't want to be, all right, put your foot down, don't do that. No, sometimes that does not prepare them for the life outside there.
Exactly.
People are going to be harsh to them.
One,
Life is going to hit them like a ton of
Mhm.
bricks.
and one thing I realized too is because my father sent me a lot of books, and through reading and things, is understand yourself and the world better. So one thing I understand that in the future, I hope I remember this when I'm a parent, that when your child is a child, you are not their friend.
Yeah.
You are their protector, you are their parent, you are their provider. You
Right.
cannot be those things in an authoritative manner and be their friend. I don't listen to my friends when they tell me, oh, you have to do this. We equal.
Yeah,
Right? You just be
true.
equals with your friends. Your friends can't tell you what to do and you just follow the instructions.
That's true.
You are a parent.
Yes.
You tell your child what to do because you know better. They don't.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager and those kind of things, I didn't fully appreciate the things my parents used to do for me. And I wasn't even a bad child. I just didn't know better. Yes, and as a child, you would just watch your spare influence and think the world is just this. Meanwhile, it's all that. You have to understand as a parent, you have to take control sometimes.
Yes.
Because you know better.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody teaches you how to be a parent,
Quite unfortunate.
right? There's no parenting class, and then they will want to do that soft parenting thing.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's not working.
Yeah, even with my students, I am firm but not harsh,
Mm.
right? So you have to know, okay, you can't do this, and I will let you know why it is not okay. Or I would have them tell me why it is not okay and why they may receive, a timeout or whatever it is. Um, so they have to know when you do certain actions, there are consequences. For everything in life, there's consequences. So the soft parenting, oh no, don't do that, get on your foot, doesn't necessarily work most times. Especially when you have a strong-minded, strong-willed child. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and we're not saying beat your children because I never get like screwed up.
No.
Yeah, so I'm not saying beat your children, but have ways to enforce your will without getting violent.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I'd ask you too as well. As because you're on both sides of the spectrum, right? So he is a mother and you are a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? How involved do you think a parent should be in the child life at school?
In the formative years, parents need to be involved. You can't just let the child develop on their own, especially in the formative years. We're talking about preschool, primary school levels. Then you need to be involved. They have to see that you are interested in their education, in their development. I'm not saying to be a hovering, overprotective parent, but you should check on to see if they got homework. make sure they didn't bring home anybody else's stuff in their bags,
Mm-hmm.
visit the school every so often to check to see on their progress and that kind of thing. So they need to be involved. As they develop in probably secondary school also, need to, which is something difficult I had to learn. You need to
Mm-hmm.
take some of the reins off
Mm-hmm.
slowly as they develop, especially for like Form 1 and onward, so that they can try to figure out who they are and what they want to do in the future and what they need to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's difficult, especially for overprotective parents, which I can say I started off being initially.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to let go and allow your child to develop at their own pace at
Mm-hmm.
times. Um, Even now, my child is an adult. Um, I try to hold both roles. So if she needs advice, I put on my parenting hat. But I also want my child to be comfortable enough to tell me anything.
Mm-hmm.
You should have that the kind of relationship that they will be able to speak to you about anything.
Yeah.
So you have to, when they're adult and in the latter teenage years, you kind of have to figure out how to balance between um, and a friend type situation and also a parent type situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of being that protector, that provider, but also being somebody they could open up to and talk to. Because trust me, they will get advice from their friends that are not of the best. So, but they should be comfortable enough to come and talk to you to
Mm-hmm.
get that kind of advice as well. So it's a very difficult line to walk at times, especially
Mm-hmm.
with teenagers. But yeah, I think it's a progression of both. You have to
Mm-hmm.
have both, you know. So yes, involve in the formative years, have that involvement. Show them, yeah, I'm checking in on you. I'm checking on your process. You know, I'm checking on your progression. And then gradually, as they grow, especially in the teenage years, you need to
Mm-hmm.
let go a bit more. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Nice good
It's
advice.
a
Nice good
difficult
advice.
dance.
I might have to rewatch this when I get my own. Well, to end this off, I gotta ask you one final question.
Okay.
What was your proudest moment as a teacher?
Oh, it will be difficult for me to just pick one.
Whew,
I've had a few.
your students doing a good job there.
um, Let me see if I could pick my top three.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started teaching, it was at a boys' school. Um, uh, it was I was very green in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had left to go to college, and I went back for the graduation that they had. And when some of my students were doing their graduation speech, they mentioned me in their speech, which was I was surprised. Um, I didn't realize my impact on their life until they made the speech.
Yeah.
And they were very thankful for my contribution because it was more of a mother type figure, and they were going through stuff at the time that I was not fully aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of the fact that they were able to feel that kind of comfort, I think it had helped them out academically. So, I think sometimes we don't realize our impact on students. I think that was the first time I realized,
Mm-hmm.
that I can make a difference and that my impact as an educator, as an adult, how I can affect children. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be one. Um, I had a class in standard two who were very intelligent. We had finished the syllabus, I think, a couple months before the year, and they were doing sanitary work, building molecules and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was another. And then there are just simple things. For me, one of the most rewarding parts of it is the aha moment for a student.
Mm.
When it's something that they weren't getting, they were getting trouble to understand, and you see the look on their face when they're like, oh, that aha moment
Yeah.
is like it makes like yes, I did, yes, you know that right. They understand. Just having seeing that aha moment sometimes is like I did my job.
Mm.
Did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, and when I spoke to her about the child who had trouble reading and stuff. So it's those moments during my
Mhm.
profession, because I said I've been teaching for like 17 years, so
Yeah.
it might have been a lot, but those are the moments that make my job rewarding, that, makes me feel fulfilled as a not just as a teacher, but as a person.
Mm.
To know that you've made somebody's day better, that you've
Mm.
had some positive impact in a person's life. So I think those are the moments that I cling to and I look forward to. So yeah, it's hard for me to just pick one. I've had so many
Yeah.
during
No, that good.
my
That
tenure.
shows that you truly love your job.
Yeah.
And when you truly love your job, I just call it justifying your existence. That's not even simple. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but only jokes something aside, like I feel that is what we should all strive towards. That is where to call our career. That is where to call your passion. Something that when I ask you, what is the proudest moment? You can't just pick one.
Can't, I really can't.
but,
Yeah,
but that,
I've had many.
that amazing, that amazing,
Yeah.
that amazing.
I've
But
had some wonderful students along the way too. So even now, they'll still pass and remember my
mm,
name and okay, yes, yeah, those moments are
mm,
what makes the job worthwhile at the end of the day.
yeah. But I'd like to thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
Yeah. So I hope more teachers out there be just as amazing as Miss Sandy, right? Make sure and have a passionate and great work ethic, right? Care about your students, care about the people around you. This has been Justifying Your Existence. Have a great day, and I hope you justify your existence in some way.